when something might happen. Okay.
Yeah, we're closing in on 9 o'clock and we're going to get kicked out of here fairly soon. So I just wanted to ask for some final comments from our panelists. Dan, any final thoughts?
I just have a question. So, Doctor, 2 suggestions. Yeah. Moving forward, I heard one.
Use the mic if you want, so everybody can hear.
I heard one suggestion, focus where we got a chance. And so that's another suggestion. We need to focus on that 4 years because lots of opinion, but we need to hear from the people, but we also need to act. So what is the second action in your opinion?
Well, my sense, and I alluded to it early on in my comments, is that the opposition in Alberta, apart from the Wild Rose in the last election, have not been united, have not been distinctive enough, have not been attractive enough, have not had the machine, to use the words of our panelist, have not had the machine, and maybe not the message. I really like some of the comments earlier about people getting out and getting on the streets and holding all of us more accountable, really pushing for something clear, singular, and measurable, I guess you'd have to say. In my view, I got into politics because of climate change. To me, that is the economic, environmental, and social issue of this century. If we can't get governments to do anything meaningful on that one, we've lost our governments, as far as I'm concerned. So how do we, is that the one issue that we could actually focus on, go to the streets on, and hold accountable individual MLAs who have not supported, say, a carbon tax or any kind of meaningful action on climate change? And then ultimately you get to the government that says, oh, this next election, it's such a big issue because people have been talking about it and active on it and writing on it and pushing that we better do something about this or we're not going to be elected next time. So that's one option. My other major feeling is that unless we unite the efforts of all of us in that center and center left, unless we unite all those who don't see the current governance structure working, the economic structure working, the electoral system working, unless we unite to try and enforce some change there, we're not going to ever be very effective against the big corporate political machines that are continuing to control everything that we hear and do. Other comments from the panelists? Those will be my final comments. United, we need to unite. We need to talk more like this between parties, and we need to make a plan. We need to make a plan to actually advance at least one agenda that will be important in the next election, that they cannot dodge, that they're going to have to be accountable for. And for me, it's been healthcare. Is the other side of it. Since I haven't been able to get any traction on the environment and climate change, I've focused on healthcare, thinking that we would draw more people, because that's the number one issue people care about. It has not been strong enough to draw people into our party. It has not been strong enough for the other reasons that we alluded to, that parties don't succeed. Machine, message, and money. So we need more citizen involvement, we need more party cross-party unity, and we need 1 or 2 issues to hammer over the next 4 years to unite people and hold government accountable. But that would be my final comments.
I guess I would go back to some of the things I said about having big ideas. And I think that there is room, when you talk about climate change, I think it is the number one issue. But what I saw was an absence of an approach that was going to make any difference. There was not a serious plan to go ahead, an understanding of what we could do that would make any difference. And so it's presented as jobs versus the environment, when anybody who studies these issues understands over the long term that's just completely wrong. Doing the right thing almost always takes more jobs, not fewer. And when you mentioned the issue about conservation being the other side of the energy issue, we should have been getting this province off the grid 30 years ago. And what we mean by that is increasing our means of conservation so that we as Albertans don't have to buy our own product and then burn it up. If we had conservation measures sufficient in this province and all the technologies available, every drop of oil that we don't have to pay for and then burn, we get to export and bring new money into the province. There is opportunity like you can't believe, and there are some alternatives vis-a-vis the oil sands that would involve a lot slower progress but make more money. Because the other thing that people need to understand, and I think if you go to Albertans they will understand it, is that the corporations are not paying their way. How many people have to die on Highway 63 before somebody points out that the oil companies should long ago have been paying for the infrastructure for making them all the billions of dollars that they're making?
I have to say I've been really encouraged by a lot of the discussion tonight. Like I feel like it's very, people are frustrated, there's no question, but there's a real thread of optimism running through here. And one of the things that really impresses me is that how many people have said, you know, we need to sit down with other people from other parties. Like, let's not always be wearing the political hat. Maybe we should be sitting down with each other and focusing on actual issues. And I know healthcare has been used as an example but it's actually true. In this province, people from all the parties have come together around healthcare to stop a lot of the measures that the Conservative government wanted to bring in. When we look at, when you look at Naheed Nenshi, I mean, he worked on civic issues for a long time before he was actually elected mayor. And there were a lot of groups of people that came together on various issues that worked. He was either involved with them or, you know, he knew about them or whatever. But there were people who didn't have necessarily their political hats on, but they were concerned about certain issues. And Naheed worked for a long time, and then, you know, all of a sudden the time was right, people got together. There was an organization called, it's still active, Civic Camp, which focused a lot on bringing people together of different political views and getting them to focus on what was the best things, you know, what could be done for the city. I think maybe we have to think in those sort of terms, and that doesn't mean that the political parties should be left to the side, but I think we do have to, you know, particularly in this province where we have such strange politics, people do have to take off their political hats at some point and say, okay, this is the issue that I'm really concerned about, and I'm willing to sit down with people from the NDP, I'm willing to sit down with Greens, I'm willing to sit down with Conservative, but I want movement on this issue. I think that's the only kind of forum that people are going to get. And the other thing I think is keep your eyes open for leaders, for natural leaders. You know, they're really, really important. And it doesn't mean that when I talk about a leader that it's somebody that's telling us what to do. But there are people who are willing to work hard, right, and put their principles on the line and take risks and learn. And those people, we need those people, right? And we need to work with them, and we need to be smart enough to actually recognize them in our midst and help them. So I'm encouraged by what I've heard tonight.
Yeah, I think I'll probably just repeat quite a bit of what I've already said, but I mean, I hear a lot of discontent with the mainstream media and how they're not reporting the issues that they should be, and I'm going to stand up for the mainstream media here just a little bit, because I know a lot of the people, a lot of reporters at these outlets are people I would call friends, or at least acquaintances, and it's not because they're lazy or they have some secret motives. The reporters and editors in the newsroom are generally very hard, overworked people these days, because newsrooms have been gutted to the point where they're stretched. It's like you have reporters who are required to file 4, 5, 6 stories a day, photographers who are running, into the ground because they have to go file photos from 12 or more events a day. So these people are working, but they can only work so hard, right? And cover so many things, and a lot of the institutional knowledge in these newsrooms has been lost because of firings, layoffs, bio packages. So that's important. But again, what we're seeing is that citizens are contributing more and more to the conversation in the newsroom, right? It's no longer a one-way dialogue where you pick up the newspaper in the morning you read it, okay, that's what's going on in the day, put it down and carry on with your day. You can now read something online and talk back to, and have a conversation with the reporters and contribute content as well, because, I mean, this alone, I mean, you can shoot photos, video, edit it on a video and package it, and it's not that hard. I mean, the technology is there where most people can do that, and then, yeah, put it on your blog or get it out on Facebook, right? You're getting something out there, and eventually, as we saw with the election, eventually if it gets out there to enough people and creates enough noise, the mainstream media will pick it up, and it will become a larger, it will get larger, or it will get broader coverage. So, I think citizens have more power than they think they have, right? And it's just a matter of tapping into it, like realizing that and using it. That's all. So thank you for coming out.
Thank you so much for coming out. We couldn't do it without you, and I want to thank all of our panelists for sticking out for 2 hours about political discussion. Thank you so much.